Hello everyone and welcome back to Tall, also known as Teach as we learn. Today we're going to be learning about the quadratic formula. So let's begin. So we've been, my last video was about factoring, but the quadratic formula is used whenever you possibly can't think of any numbers which would fit that scenario. If you can easily factor using the factor and sum table, or if you can easily factor it, then I would typically recommend not to take the quadratic formula because it tends to be quite time consuming. But regardless of the fact, whenever it simply cannot be factored, use the quadratic formula. Anyway, this is the quadratic formula, quite lengthy for sure, but this is it. So let's begin solving. So here I have a problem. I wrote the problem in orange. One thing to always keep in mind is whenever you're using the quadratic formula, make sure that all your numbers are on one side and on the other side it's zero. It's very important that the quadratic formula is written zero over here. Otherwise, it sort of just messes up the whole system. But anyway, let's begin. So as you can see, we can see here B, A, C. So whenever you see a problem and you're doing the quadratic formula technique, it would be wise to write your A, your B, and your C. So our A here is 1. Remember to always that there's an imaginary 1 beside the X if there's nothing written in front of it. Our B is -6. And our C is 4. Then you just simply plug in the numbers in the formula. So we have -6, so instead of a negative B, so instead of -6, it becomes 6. I'll use a different color. Comes 6. Then we write our plus minus, and then we do our square root. So it becomes B times 2, so -6 times -6 would be 36, minus 4 times A, which is 1, and then times C. So 4 times 1 is 4, and then 4 times 4 is 16. So minus 16. Before I even begin dividing, let's just simplify this first. So this becomes, instead of 36 minus 16, it will become 20. 20, square root 20. If you know how to simplify radicals, then go ahead. But for time purposes, we know, so basically this square root 20 could be simplified to square root 5. So it becomes 2 square root 5. And it's just another simpler way to write a simplified way instead of square root 20. And then we do the last dividing part. So 2 times A, which is times 1, so it's just 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. Then we write our plus minus. And then 2 square root of 5 divided by 2. So this is the important part where it comes to simplify radicals. Now, since this was just 2, these two just get cut, and then we can write square root 5. And that's our answer. So this is obviously something which we could not gotten with our normal method. So that's why you use the quadratic formula. Whenever we can't use that method, we do this. So now let's do our next problem. So here we have x squared minus 5x minus 36 equals 0. So this is 0. So we don't have to change anything as it is 0. But let's identify our A, B, and C. So our A is 1. Our B is -5. And our C is -36. So now that we have identified our A, B, and C, let's plug it in using the formula. So x equals negative b, so it would be 5, right? Plus minus 5 times 5 would be 25. Negative 5 times negative 5 would be 25. Then minus 4 times A is 1, and times C is negative 36. Negative 36. And then that's a big number. So negative 36 times 4 is minus 144. But if we see here that this is a minus sign, so just this. So if we simplified it and we said this is minus 144, then we can see that a minus and a minus actually make a plus. So it would become 25 plus 144, and that's 169. So it would be x equals 5 square root 169. So then we divide it by 2 times a, which is 1, so it becomes divided by 2. For those of you who don't know, 169 is actually a perfect square. So instead of just writing, 169, we can actually write 13. So it'd be 5 plus minus 13 divided by 2. However, if you notice, it's plus minus, so we don't know which operation to do. But what this means is plus minus is that we sort of have to do both operations. So there are two possibilities of getting the number we want. So in one of the operations, we would do 5 plus 13, and in the other one, we'd do 5 minus 13 divided by 2. That's what this means. In the other problem, we just wrote it like this because it was square root, right? We didn't want to do anything, just messy. But here, we can do that since it's, a perfect square. So that's why we're going to do it here. So 5 plus 13 is 18, and 18 divided by 2 is 9. So you put your answer in parentheses, 9. 5 minus 13 is 8. Minus 8 divided by 2, which is negative 4. So that's your answer for this problem, 9 and negative 4. So that's it for today.